Some changes have not been for the better. I've been troubled by the increasing number of 5-4 decisions over the last 5 years, in which a divided Supreme Court reversed decades of progress and precedent with rulings that side with powerful corporate interests rather than protecting individual rights. This trend was clearly shown in Citizens United, where the Supreme Court reversed precedent and overruled congressional intent, giving corporate special interests even more power and influence in elections. In the Ledbetter case, the majority of the Supreme Court protected employers over workers and gender discrimination, again reversing the clear intent of Congress. In another 5-4 split decision, Gross v. FBL Financial, the court made it easier for corporate America to discriminate against aging baby boomer workers. If you work for a living, if you're a woman, if you're worried that corporations may buy a louder voice in elections than hardworking everyday Americans, you need to keep an eye on the judicial legislating being practiced by this Supreme Court. Are you a consumer? Do you buy products for your family? If so, the Supreme Court in Legion, yet another 5-4 split case, should be of concern to you. Here the court ignored long-standing precedent to protect big business to perpetuate price fixing. It was a ruling that put consumers at risk. Rapinos, another 5-4 decision, was a step backwards, this time for the environment, by reducing protection from wetlands under the Clean Water Act. If you're like the rest of us and wonder if BP will be held fully accountable for the economic and environmental devastation brought on by the ongoing oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, you'll be equally alarmed by the Supreme Court decision in Exxon versus Baker, which imposed limits on damages that can be recovered in environmental disasters. Time and time again, by the narrowest of margins, this activist court has sided with big business over Main Street America, wiping away protections set in place by years of legal precedent and congressional action. As Justice Stevens stated in Citizens United, and I know Senator Durbin quoted this, I want to give the line that comes afterwards. This is Justice Stevens. Essentially, 5 justices were unhappy with the limited nature of the case before us, so they changed the case to give themselves an opportunity to change the law. There were principled, narrow paths that a court that was serious about judicial restraint could have taken. I join him in wondering just how and why those who profess to oppose judicial activism have voiced their support for these Supreme Court decisions in which justices have overturned long-standing precedent and substituted their own legislative voices for Congress, blurring the line between the legislative and judicial branches of government. Justice Stevens followed in the best tradition of the Supreme Court in advancing individual constitutional rights. Like Justice Stevens, Elena Kagan is a known consensus builder. She is also an unquestioned legal scholar, a proven leader, and a dedicated public servant. As someone who's worked my whole career to expand access to justice for all, I am particularly impressed by her record at Harvard of greatly expanding the number of law school clinics, which provide essential pro bono work for individuals who otherwise could not afford legal representation. I welcome the American public to these hearings as we open a window to the Supreme Court and shine a light on the critical role the Constitution and the rule of law plays in our lives. I come to these hearings not solely as a U.S. Senator, a legislator, and a lawyer, but as a husband, father, and grandfather. Every ruling made by the Supreme Court that continues to uphold constitutional protections that keep my granddaughters safe and secure is a victory. Every Supreme Court ruling that opens the door to abuses of power by the government or big business by overturning long-standing precedent or reversing congressional intent puts all of our children and grandchildren at greater risk. I will do all I can within my power to protect my family and every American family from such risks. Solicitor General Kagan, I welcome you to these confirmation hearings, and I look forward to your testimony and responses to our questions.